Today we're going to paint this picture in pastels, and the reason why I picked this is because of the different shapes, the different colors. So you've got a big red rose here, which is almost like a cup. Can you see that? It's like, imagine there's a cup here and it's like that. You can see the cup. The light is coming from the left to the right, and you can see the light falling on the petals and the darkness in here. You've got the chrysanthemums here, which again you'll have to deal with in a different, more short stabby strokes, and then these white flowers here. I've left this flower out. You're very welcome to put it in if you want. I've just done a quick sketch here with a white charcoal pencil or white pencil. Careful if you use what type of pencil you use to draw it out. Pencil is fine. Be careful of the Contes or the other sort of light crayony pencils, because it might have a waxy feel, and you want to make sure that the pastel can go over it. So what we're going to do, don't start with a dark, although obviously we're going to have to go on with white first, but don't start with the light first, because I wanted to start with this rose. You could actually turn this upside down if you wanted to. And I'm just going to do each petal bit by bit. And what we're going to do here first is block in colours. Depending on the colour of your paper, you'll actually see I'm leaving a slight line around to give form to the petals. And then I'm just taking the yellow. So we're going to, for chrysanthemums, we're going to do little stabby strokes in a circle. Going to do the same. So what we're going to do today is concentrate on different marks for different flowers. I will leave this shadow here, and then you've got, I might put this shadow up here. So you've got this flower up here. Now I'm putting a more sketchy version of this, doesn't have to be the full thing. And then dots around for the flowers. And this is a little bit greenier, but I'm going to put this in anyway. Again, it really depends what you've actually got in your pastel colours. I think this is a little bit more lemon. But you might only have, some of you might only have one yellow, which means you're just going to have to use this yellow for all of them. And then we're going to use a green. Now, bearing in mind that I don't have a darker, I could be getting a darker green, but let's just pretend that I don't. Green leaves. Now this is way too bright, so I'm going to tone this down, but I'm literally just mapping this in. I've just filled in some of the green. I've put in some of these little central points. I've made this flower a bit big. Now I'm not sure if I've made it too big, but I can cut that down later. What I did do is take this really bright green here, and then I put some blue over it, and then I also put some charcoal over a different patch, and then I smudged it together. And I think you'll agree, this is that the one with the charcoal, this one here, is a bit more realistic. So I've started to put some charcoal in here, and you can start going into the petals to bring those little petals out like that, and tap off the excess. And you can really see the white start. I have to remember to keep this in focus. The white of the flower coming out. So we have this stamen here, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to bring that out over the top and put this bubble here. You can put a bit of green in if you want, and then bring that. So what we're doing is we're going from dark to light. So apart from the white flowers, which you can't really do much about, they are white flowers, so you've got to fill that in. I tend to go from dark to light. I'm not very strict on that one, it has to be said. I was really thinking about some of my ballerina paintings and thinking I don't really go dark, medium, light. I do tend to fill in shapes, and what we're going to do here is start building up these central parts. I do like the purple coming through. If you haven't got purple paper, then, you know, don't worry. What you do is think of, and I said this before, think of the color paper as an extra color on your palette, and how can you use that in your painting. So if you're doing it on white, then maybe go around the petals, use the white of the paper as part of your petals. If you were doing it a red, I would say the same thing. Again, I said I was going from dark to light, but here I've got the yellow, I've gone orange, and then there's some darker red here, isn't there, underneath? And I think just to leave it like that. But you can see how I'm slowly building up. And you don't forget to use these flowers to bring out some of the other flowers. So you can make that more solid, but you can leave the light coming through here because it's capturing the light from the left to the right. You can see that is very dark under here. So if you wanted to, you can use your charcoal, putting little holes in, little black, to give the impression. So we're just using just on the right though, because this is where the main shadow is, okay? I was just experimenting a little bit, and I just suddenly found a really good way of doing something. I wanted a little bit more light on the side of the chrysanthemum, so I used the white and I just graded it on the side like that, okay? And then what I did was is then go over with these little stabby leaves again, and then you're creating some, can you see the light? But there's such shadow on this side that I'm going to start with green first, and then I'm going to graze over with some charcoal that'll hopefully make it come out. So you're just doing the ellipse, little dots around. Oh, be careful of this here. You're not just going around in a circle. Can you see it's foreshortened? So that's going behind. So it's almost in a squidged excuse for the shaking camera, but like that. And again here. So be aware of where those little orangey bits go. So you've got that is in a full circle around, that's slightly going around, and that's again sort of foreshortened as well. You can always go over that white as well and break it up and soften it as well. So it doesn't have, this should be brighter, say, than that. I'm actually going to leave this one pretty much as is because it's kind of off into the distance and it's not really an important part of the picture. And then I'm going to bring in just greys, some shadow, little stems. Can you see that coming out now? And you can make some bits of the shadow darker than others, okay, because some shadows will be. If that is too, if you feel that's too dark, you can take your cotton wool bud and soften it. Actually, and there is shadow from the actual thing going over. The only place you're going to have shadow is underneath these leaves. Yes, I know I've used artistic license. Too many petals for my liking. And see, that might be too dark now. You've got to be so careful with light. White, should I say. We've nearly finished. Oh, and we've got these here. So there's some shadow on here. So little dots. Little stems, little dots. Don't do them all around, for goodness sake, because it's only on this side. To leave that here, you can, if you want, put a little bit of light coming here and lose that edge of the leaf. So you've got more drama here and more diffused light here if you so want. You can put these like that. You can soften these leaves. What you've got is sort of more dramatic, darker light here on this side. You can leave the purple on the side. I actually would be tempted to leave the purple on the side, or you can put some white diffused light if you like. Build up the colors slowly. The basic colors, so you've got the red there, orange, red, white, so the basic common color and green for the colors, and then you can put the light and the shade on top of that. You are supposed to, as soft pastel rule of thumb, go from dark to light, but actually, I mean, you can't really with this because you've got white flowers, and you know, you make common sense decisions. Make sure that simplify this. You see this here? I didn't do any of this. You can if you want. I mean, it's a beautiful rose, but I just really made mine much more simple, but really just focus on these big petals and think of it as a teacup, and you've turned it facing the other way. Again, you can draw it out as is. There was nothing wrong with this composition. As I said, I just kind of put it all together. I actually quite like it overlapping, so I think it's actually worked out well. But don't overlap all. Do you see that flower there has actually been moved away a little bit? The flower further away, you want to make it sketchy. Don't hold, so it doesn't hold the viewer's eye. The petals of the white flower, because you can go over it afterwards, okay? And you can get more of a torn feel to it, but that's really at the end. So do remember your mixing, have fun, try and experiment. Oh, make sure that you use different ways of using the pastel. So on the nib, on the point, and if you can on the side. You remember I used the side of the white pastel to go over that, and also short jabby strokes on the chrysanthemum, and then soft mixing on the rose. You can use cotton wool bud, and I think that is everything. Okay, have fun.